Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. My name is Suriana, the presenter for today. I would like to share with you guys some of event disasters that can possibly happen in your event. Without wasting our time, let's begin. Event management is the application of project management to the creation and development of small and or large-scale personal or corporate events such as festivals, conferences, ceremonies, weddings, formal parties, concerts or conventions. As an event planner or coordinator, you need to be prepared to deal with any situation that comes your way before or during the event, which also known as disaster. What is disaster? According to WHO written on 2002, disaster is an occurrence disrupting the normal conditions of existence and causing a level of suffering that exceeds the capacity of adjustment of the affected community. There is a lot of disasters that can possibly happen at your event, such as the problem with venue, transportation disruption, equipment failure, sponsors false back, environmental hazard, crowd disaster, and so many more. But for today, we are going to discuss about two disasters that can typically happen in your event, which are environmental hazard and crowd disaster. Environmental hazard is a substance, a state, or an event which has the potential to threaten the surrounding natural environment or adversely affect people's health. Firstly, chemical hazard. A chemical hazard is a type of occupational hazard caused by exposure to chemicals in the workplace. Exposure to chemicals in the workplace can cause acute or long-term health effects, such as explosive material. As you can see in this video, it happened in one of the festivals in Myanmar where the hot air balloon filled with fireworks exploded over a crowd. The effect to this incident, it caused at least 9 injuries. Due to this technical failure, it gave a bad image to the event organizer. Of course, we don't want our event to be remembered as a nightmare. Secondly is physical hazard. A physical hazard is an agent, factor or circumstances that can cause harm without contact. They can be classified as type of occupational hazard and environmental hazard. Physical hazards include bad weather. The incidents in this video was happened at the Pukul Pop Festival on 2011, where there was a massive storm starts and rips through the festival during the last performance. The effect of this incident is 3 people were reported dead and almost 70 people injured. Chaotic situation will be occurred if the event organizer have to cancel the event on the D-Day due to bad weather because they don't prepare for any backup plan. Thirdly, biological hazard. A biological substance that poses a threat to the health of living organisms, especially humans. This could include pandemic. The closest with us now, on March 11, 2020, WHO has announced that the world is currently facing pandemic of COVID-19. Therefore, all events that involve mass gathering need to postpone or cancel. The effect from this pandemic is about 8.3 million people around the world were infected and 400,000 people from the total cases are dead. Just imagine if we still proceed with any mass gathering event, the chance to get infected is very high. A psychological hazard is any hazard that affects the mental well-being or mental health of an individual by overwhelming individual coping mechanisms and impacting the person's ability to work in healthy and safe manner. Psychological hazard includes sexual harassment. Here, I have provided a video from the feed SBS regarding sexual harassment.
come to many festivals?
This is one of my first. I'm loving the vibe.
Pretty much all of them.
All of them?
Like Blender, Falls.
Festival for days.
Good lineup, good vibes, good crowd.
This is my fourth this summer.
I just pierced my nipple.
Just today even.
Yeah, just before.
Shout out to the fucking June Rats. For many people, summer is festival season. A chance to see some bands with your mates. But today, I'm not here for the music. I want to ask some festival punters about a darker side of going to a gig. Have you guys ever been groped at a festival or a gig or a club?
Like the ass grab?
100 times. Like
Yeah,
literally,
definitely.
like all the time, every time we go out.
Yeah, it happens all the time when you're with the girls.
So every single woman here has been groped at a club or at a gig?
100%.
I've seen it before, like all the time. Like people just get heaps fucked up and they just do stupid shit.
You know, they get taken advantage of because they're just, you know, out of their minds, and the guys can see that.
Just because I'm like half naked doesn't mean you can touch me, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't give you the right to do that, but...
This summer, there were a spate of sexual assault reports at festivals around Australia.
When I found out I was going to Falls, I was really excited. I was 16 when I went. That festival was the first, my first mosh pit. Trying to get into that mosh pit was a bit scary. The number of people and the noise of the people, and even on your way through, guys would sort of be groping you all the time and rubbing up against you from behind, and you just kind of push them away and like not make a big fuss. One guy behind me, he just got more and more persistent and ended up like hugging me from behind. He was about 40, and I remember him saying like, "Oh, it's all right, me and my brother, we just can't help ourselves. We really like young girls like you're so beautiful." I was kind of like resisting and trying to push. It was all pretty tight, and he ended up like putting his hand down my skirt and like putting his fingers inside me. I think I sort of blanked out. It was pretty like traumatic. I remember thinking at the time, I don't know what to do. What if he gets angry? You feel so vulnerable though, because then you're still surrounded by so many people, and it's like, am I safer in numbers like this, or am I more at risk because who else like around you could be about to do this?
This will give a very bad experience to any event attendees, as they might be facing anxiety, depression, lower self-esteem, traumatized, and more than we could ever imagine. Okay, so let's move to the next point, which crowd disaster. Crowd disaster happen when people stumble and pile out due to a domino effect, resulting from a phenomenon called crowd turbulence or crowd quake. Crowd quakes are a typical reason for crowd disasters, to be distinguished from crowd disasters resulting from mass panic or crowd crashes. There are 5 types of crowd, which are firstly, casual crowd, secondly, cohesive crowd, thirdly, expressive crowd, fourthly, aggressive crowd, and lastly is explosive crowd. However, from these 5 types of crowd, there are only 3 that can create event disaster, which are expressive, aggressive, and explosive crowd. Expressive crowd is a collection of people who gathered primarily to be excited and to express one or more emotion, such as exuberant, spontaneous emotion release, displaying horseplay or frolic behavior, and often high density by desire. Aggressive crowd is numbers of people who gathered that have competitive attitude, verbally antagonist or hostile, intense social tensions, vicious prank, also antisocial behavior. Explosive crowd is a crowd who craze, panic, violent, disorderly, angry, and destructive. Let's take a few events as an example to complete this picture of crowd disaster. This is a video of 3 Days Grace live in Moscow, Russia back in 2017. Approximately 30,000 people attend this concert. In this video, you can see the expressive crowd where people release their emotions by singing along with the performer. There is a study that showed music and vibes bring by the performer itself can influence a crowd behavior. Whereas in this video, the crowd is enjoying the moment by jumping, crowd surfing, form a mosh pit, and more. This could be bad for those who are not used to this type of concert, but to those who were, that is the culture. As you can see in this video, it was happened in one of the concerts held in Berlin, Germany back in 2010 in a festival named Love Parade. What happened here was the number of people attending allegedly reached 1.4 million, but the expectation was only around 800,000 people. Whereas the police believe around 400,000 people were present. The effect of this incident is it caused stampede due to overcrowd. 21 people were killed and more than 500 were injured. This can be categorized as explosive crowd since it caused many injuries by uncontrollable behavior known as destructive crowd. There are plenty of ways to prepare your venue, your staff, and yourself to host a successful private event that goes off without a hitch. But when it comes to the things like bad weather and crowd disaster, sometimes there is no way to know what will be thrown at you before the night's end. However, you can always do your best to expect the unexpected. Before I end my presentation, I would like to thank Dr. Mastro for this opportunity and whoever watched this video presentation. Thank you and see you again. Bye-bye.